mentally stable. But I mean, from this experience, I think going forward, we need to insist on this. What wanafaa kuwa check? Unajua, maybe we can be dealing with someone who has problems. Unajua, and at this, when I sit in place and wengi mchukua tumpeleke Mathare tupime, you get my point. Eh? So, back to the topic. There's something that mimi iliniguza that I think we should also push for it. There's only one thing. I know sometimes wanasema mgala muue lakini haki umpe. As much as I didn't want to give this guy any credit at all, I'm not even giving him credit. I'm just saying what he said because it has not worked yet. But if this thing works, I think it can solve some of the problems, especially this of integrating all the payments as a government. For example, ukiingia kwa national park ama unaenda any government service zikuwe zote synchronized, unagua zikuwe synced for one payment system. This will save a lot. Hii ni kitu tu nani CS wa finance anaingia tu kwa system anakilika anaangalia leo watu wamelipa hii much. This is what the government has earned from the services. Unaget? So there will be no like unaenda huku unaenda. See, I'm saying this because if everything is online system, like those of us, some of us in the diaspora, these things didn't work. Unaingia kwa government portal unalipa. Yani these things are seamless. Unajua mambo na hacking, those ones are there, cyber security, that's for another day. But assuming everything is seamless, like we synchronize payment into one portal, unajua this one will help us. So kunanga mambo ati tunangojea payment from this side. You know, I'm saying this because last time I was in Nairobi, unajua when you are in the diaspora, there's one thing what tunasema like wa Kenya, if you can survive hapo Nairobi for 5 years, 6 years, hustle Nairobi, you can live in any country in the world unaweza hustle. Me, hapo Nairobi, there's something I realized. I don't know if it's still there. You see, watu wanapeananga tickets. One time I want you to take your due diligence na uangalie. These tickets zinakuanga mara mbili. Kuna mtu anakuja na book copy. These are like fake money. But sasa, who has that capability ya kwenda kuangalia this receipt is fake, this is real? Unajua, that's how they work. So kuna collection inaendanga kwa one person, this one inaenda kwa one. There's a lot of money inakuanga wasted. If they can integrate this, unajua, all system payments were synchronized. I think this is a positive thing that I can take from his speech, and I hope going forward, if this can work, we can push from this, and it can help us a lot of pilferages in the government sector, especially in the public service, where services inakuanga kama unanunua chakula ya kuku. I'll be listening, and wherever I have time out, I'll always be coming back. Peter, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Kuna mtu amesikia nikisema msupport studio akaingia akasupport. Thank you so much Kevin hapo hivi kwenye tipja. I see the one and only Victor. Habari. Amtuko kutuni kwa Ras G kwanza. Ras G alafu Victor. Ras. Habari.
Hata nishatoa mic.
Shida simu yako ni inaweza overheat upotee hadi kwa speaker. Hebu ongea kabla ipotee. Ni aje Vic?
Yes. Niko poa kabisa. Mimi hakuna kitu huyo Abimelech anaweza sema hata nisikie. The only good thing out of that speech is cancelling that Adani contract. And na hata sio ati we are not even supposed to applaud that. That is something he should have done in June. Given all the cases that we have seen in Bangladesh, in Australia, the fact that even this Swiss newspaper also published some sort of indictments and walikuwa nazo. So they're just scammers. They're just scammers. Even in India itself, if you watch those news, India, just on YouTube, blah blah, ungeona there was a lot of discussion venye yes wanakuja na hiyo clean intention, lakini chini ya maji wako tu ni wakora kabisa. I'm just happy that our strategic asset like energy is not something that we should be giving to somebody like this kwenda kushikilia. Another strategic asset like JKIA. I mean, we can. I have always said this, and I still insist. JKIA is a profitable entity. Na saizi, with all the mismanagement and all the corruption and nepotism and putting political cronies in that institution, yet it's still able to make 19-20 billion shillings a year in terms of revenue and profit in the range of 5 to 7 billion. Just make JKIA the way you did Safaricom. Make it a PLC, a public limited company. Gava ibaki na 49% ya share ownership, ama hata kama ni 60, iweke 40 kwa stock market. We will buy them. We will buy them because JKIA it's something yenye will always give you return for investment because we are a hub in the region. And if we invest more in JKIA, it means more cargo planes, more passenger planes will come in because we have a decent airport and Nairobi is also strategically located. So that's a win-win situation. Hii kitu mnataka kupatia mtu ataenda kuhold airport for 30 years. Na hata hiyo 30 years awaambii conclusively what they are going to be building. Wanasema tutakuwa tunaangalia maybe after 5 years tunafanya hii, after 10 years tunafanya hii. No, we can do this thing. In fact, I even saw some people say that tupeleke airport, tuipeleke Konza. Ijengwe huko airport mpya, alafu Wilson itolewe mali Wilson iko ende kwe JKIA, and then Wilson can be made into something else. It can be brought down and it becomes a commercial center. Then JKIA becomes our local Wilson, and so on, and we move on. But it's like these people don't think. Alafu unaona vile Abimelech ametupa Wandai na Chirchir chini ya basi leo hata plus baba yote. This morning Wandai was just busy defending Adani thing in a Senate committee, only for his boss to go and say something else on live TV. Yani rais mwenyewe ana complain about communication, na yeye mwenyewe communicate hata na watu wake. I think he was trying to score some political points because the church has been on his neck, Kenyans have been on his neck. Hata nimeona Wakorino leo asubuhi walikuwa na, I don't know whether ni leo ama ni jana, walikuwa na some pressure on his neck. The Law Society of Kenya, the Human Rights Commission, everyone is on his neck. So maybe hii ilikuwa tu ni appeasement. Kwa sababu I think your news ya US was just timely for him. It could just have been, maybe this is the thing that I need to power say under the bus. Because if I've been agreeing with them all this time, there's no way I can change my mind. But me, I don't care for his reasons. What I care is that those two assets are very important because these are things that we can do locally. These are things that we can do locally. Because if look at this, they say that Adani will invest 95 billion in energy infrastructure for 30 years. Just look at the circles that we have in Kenya, from Harambee Sacco all the way to my local one in the village. Stima Sacco peke yake, which I'm also a member, iko na asset base ya karibu 50-something billion. Harambee Sacco also the same range. Police Sacco the same range, and so on. Man, you can talk to some of these local circles because these are now Kenyans themselves. Chukueni hii infrastructure ya stima ikuwe yenu na mujenge, and you run it for 30 years, na hiyo pesa inabaki locally. We don't want pesa inatoka hapa nje ndani ya nchi when we are already struggling with circulation and everything. You still want to bring people who will be shipping money outside. And Amerik said something that, Adani was a Kenyan. Hii ilikuwa tu ni face. Adani was a Kenyan who wanted to kukula hivi vitu zote, but ni kama sasa mambo imeenda mrama. But other than that, all these things that he is saying about uchumi imepanda, I mean, those macroeconomic indicators zenye naongelea, it's well and good on paper, but if people cannot feel the effect in their pockets, in their shopping basket, and in the way in their spending habits, then there's nothing, you cannot convince them otherwise. Yeah? You cannot tell me that inflation is at 2.7%, which is possibly true, but nikienda dukani, I'm still spending more. So it doesn't help me. All those things don't help me. You either do two things. Either you increase my wages so that I can be able to afford more and have more disposable income left, or the costs come down so that even if my salary has not gone up, niko na pesa bado imebaki ya kufanya vitu zangu. And I also want to agree with Japunj. I think for me, the chief idea, whatever it is called, I think that idea is good. But serikali ya Abimelech na wafuasi wake, they are very bad communicators and they are very bad executioners. Wako na haraka. Na wako na haraka because they want to score political points. You don't need to score. Kenya haihami. Kenya haihami. Hii kitu ungesema tu hata tunataka kuanza hii shift SHA implementation na Kisumu County, for instance. Then you spend your time in Kisumu County and you make sure that the transition is seamless. You learn the mistakes there. You get reports about, okay, hapa tulifanya makosa, hii na hii ilifanyika, before you roll this thing out. Apparently, there was some news report that they did some trials in Marsabit and Isiolo, and the uptake of this transition was not really good, but they never said anything. Wakakuja wakasema, oh, let us just shift to this thing. Yes, it may work 2 years down the line, but the number of lives that have been lost, that will be lost in those 2 years, we can never bring them up. We can never bring them back. And that's the most important thing. If somebody has lost a parent, a brother, a sister, a child, a grandparent, because wameenda hospitali na shift SHA haifanyi kazi, or ABCD is not working, I mean, what do you want them to do? Yeah? We hear of these multiple cases in the media. What about those that we don't hear? What about ule mtu ako Bundus huko ndani, Kabartonjo huko ndani, mwenye hata hakuna hata maybe newspaper imewahi fika huko, utajuaje kama anateseka? So these are the little things that for me I think this government needs to work on, even as they prepare to vacate office in 2027. These are the little things they need to work on. Angalau waseme watakuwa na ka legacy. Alafu na hiyo kitu ingine ya digitized government payment system. I think for me that's a big plus. If they can sort that out vizuri, na hii mambo ya procurement, that's its end to end. Alafu hii tabia ya serikali badala ya kununua a biro pen at 10 shillings or 20 shillings, whatever the price it is right now, wananunua at 100. If we can just eliminate that, my friend, we are good to go. We are good to go. Yeah. And it means all that excess money inaenda kwa procurement inajaza mifuko za watu, wengine wananunua nao Bentleys na Range Rovers without ever working or doing anything. Then we will have enough money to invest in, say, this energy infrastructure, roads, markets, schools, hospitals. Kwa sababu hapa kwa procurement pia ndio vitu zinakulwa. But rais amekuja na anaongea tu superficially. Yeah? Anaongea tu superficially. Yet I would have expected him aende na Mr. Mbadi, this is what I want to see. Mr. Murkomen, this is what I want to see. Yeah, and within 3 months we want to see results. You put those ministers to make up on the spot. That is the only way, because those people are not your friends. Yeah? Kikiumana, they will be the first ones to run away from you. They will be the first ones to, because nobody likes a sinking ship. Yeah? Kikiumana, ndo nasema, but unajua urais tumekuwa tukiongea na yeye na aski. He doesn't listen. Yeah? So I think for me, government as a whole, communication yao tu ni mbaya kabisa. Yeah? It's only yesterday that some of them, like all the talks and the whatever, after the US wali indict Adani, ulikuwa unaona hizo vitu za stop shaming Adani blah blah. Leo the moment rais ameruka hiyo story, wamekuja tena story mpya. Watu hawana msimamo. Hawana msimamo kabisa. But all in all, I think Kenyans, we are in a good space. Our voices work. Let nobody cheat us. Sauti yetu inafanya kazi. When Amenya broke this story Adani in June, nobody thought that thing would not go through. But leo tumeona the importance of our activism. Whether it's digital, whether it's on the ground, whether it's kwa kotini, tuzidi kufanya hivi. Tuzidi kuwa active citizens. The more active we remain as citizens, the better our country will be. Because hawa watu hakuna mali watajificha. And if you are MP, if you are here and your MP was supporting Adani na leo amebadilisha story, ukikutana na yeye mwambie ukweli. Tell them, are you a member of parliament or are you a cow being milked by Bill? You have to decide one thing. Choose one place ambayo utasimama. tujue kama wewe ni ng'ombe unakamuliwa ama wewe ni mbunge unaenda kutetea wananchi. You cannot be those two, that leo uko pande hii na kesho rais akiruka uko pande hii. It's the same thing with the finance bill. Walipiga kura all for it, rais akiruka, they are the same people clapping behind him. I mean, what kind of people are these? The fact that they gave the president a standing ovation in parliament at a cancel Adani deal, when it is the MPs who are supposed to be scrutinizing those things even before the executive starts initiating any sort of PPP talks, alafu wako hapo wanapiga makofi. Sasa sijui wanataka tupige mayowe na nderemo tukiwa thank. No, me, I'm not going to thank any of them because they're all useless. Yeah, none of them except a few people, except a few MPs who I can say labda naona ile kazi wanajaribu kufanya, but many of them bure kabisa. Asante PP.
Asante sana bwana Victor, anakuona pale hivi. Umesema kwamba hakuna haja kuambia asante punda kwa kuleta maji nyumbani. Punda ilijua inafaa kufanya hiyo kazi, na unavyoangalia vizuri ni kwamba our leaders are really narcissistic. They are the ones who actually went and negotiated that Adani deal. Nobody in this country was even interested in it, right? But now sisi ndo tunaenda kusema asante kwa kututolea Adani. What do you mean? Asante ya nini? Asante for who? Why are we saying thank you, sir? I thought it was just normal. Ras G, can you hear me, brother? Ras G, uko kwenye mic? Is your mic hot, Ras G? Earlier on kuna poll nilikuwa nimeweka, were you satisfied by the State of the Nation address? We have 142 votes currently going on. It's on my latest tweets. 4.9% of that vote is saying yes. 14.8% is saying not really, and 80% wanasema more lies, more problems. I think President Ruto has really lost some ground, even if he doesn't want to accept it. And I wonder how. But it's what happens when you have cronies for advisors. I think you need to have people who can actually tell you the truth. I see there's a guy called Derico 1254. How are you doing, Derico?
Yeah, I'm
Talk
good.
to us.
And nice. Yeah, hello. How are you?
I am well. I hope you're well
I
too.
hope everyone. Yeah, I'm well, and thank you, Pepita, for giving us this platform. Yeah, this is my first day to comment or to have a conversation on space. Thank you a lot. Yeah, so I want to start by addressing the state of the nation. Today we've had our president speaking so much, speaking more lies, speaking some sense. Yeah, but my question is about just to ask our leaders, what do they wait something to go wrong so that they can make it right? And if they can do that, what's their role do they play to the people who elected them into office? They're our representative. Yeah, I can't take my whole village to the parliament to represent all our grievances. What they need to do is they need to know that we elected them so that they can satisfy us, not to satisfy their bosses. So with those few remarks, I just want to ask some questions about these Adani deals, everything. So we've had Chief, we've had Shah, but I never had President saying about the Adani, saying something about Adani with the Chief or Shah. Yeah. So, or what is calling Taifa Care. So that's what we need also to know about it. And also something also I need to address that we elected greedy leaders. When they get big envelopes, they are just like our church leaders and religious leaders. They just wait when something is wrong so that they can make it right. Why don't they make it right before it gets wrong? Yeah. And also, you see people, we are employed sometimes. You look at your pay slip, it's not adding some sense. It's not making some sense. You get more deductions. Even sometimes you can lack bus fare. You can lack a fare to take you to job. You have to keep on borrowing like a beggar, and you keep on working. Is that the life you want to live? So the government must also check on its deductions, the way they deduct the people who are employed. Then also the education sector and the health sector. It might also be checked by our leaders. You see now, every time we hear about strikes, we hear about what? Then a place where I come from, mostly I live in Kangemi area, and I work in Westland. When you just check Kangemi, since Unya left the office, there is what we call a bridge there, Gia Daraja. They have done nothing. They have done nothing. Even they just wrote across the bridge. They haven't completed. The bridge is not completed. Even the roads are not good. They are not in a good state. And we have been told like KWS makes a lot of profit. Then the Kenya Airways is making profits, but we don't see those profits. Where do they go, or do they go to their pockets? So that's what we need to know from our leaders. So, and they must also stop playing some games with us. They wait when things are bad so that they can make it right. That's not about leadership. And also, we must check also, and we must recall our leaders. And something I wanted also to address is about for now we don't have an electoral body. We don't have IBC. Even there are some constituencies which don't have even their representatives. They don't have MPs. We also have some wards. They don't have MCS. So who represent those people if they don't have leaders? We need to have IBC so that even we can also recall these our leaders. We can recall them, those who are underperforming. Everything nowadays, even you cannot even believe to our leaders, our MPs, mostly the parliament. Everything they see, they just vote yes, yes, yes. Then sometimes even they don't make law. Maybe even I can just believe even there's someone who said they go there just to eat mandazi and tea. They just take mandazi and tea. They have forgotten about us. They are just there to impress their bosses or their boss. They forget a common mwananchi who voted for them. Yeah. So those are the things we need to address. We need also to fight so that we can have IBC. Then when we are having IBC now, we are safe. We can do whatever we want to do. There are some things I'm happy about Adani. Adani getting rid of Adani running the airport and also running for for KPLC. That I'm happy, and we keep on fighting, and we should not stop here. These people are just playing with our minds. So we should also check some things. We should find the ways so that to convince other people. You know, these people they use what we call divide and rule. They use divide and rule so that they can divide us. So I can just advise my fellow country people: we should not be scared. Yeah, we continue pushing so that we can get this country back to its right direction. Thank you.
Asante sana Derek. Ndio unasema kwamba kuna hiyo barabara ya Kangemi, the bridge is not completed since Uhuru.
Yeah, inaua wasee wanaanguka pale nini hiyo barabara man. Alafu unajua pia the other roads zenye zilikuwa zenye tunatumia kama alternative zililimwa, hazijaitengenezwa. Kukinyesha ni mesi, kabla ufike kwa barabara ni shida manze. Hiyo ndio kitu nataka tu muaddress.
And you know that is not only the case in Kangemi. I saw videos also of some parts of Eastlands as well. Barabara ni mbaya. Personally on my side pia federal road zetu za huku Rongai ukichukua pikipiki unaenda bumpy ride. So I don't know, maybe also I could like to hear from other estates nisikie wao wanasema vipi.
Sawa. That's true.
But thank you so much for your submission as well. I'm looking for Mzalendo bwana. Mzalendo sijui ni kama ulini block. Mzalendo ni unblock ndugu yangu. Kwa nini tunaishi hivi? I can't see Mzalendo on the mic, but he says that he's around. Mzalendo, request the mic again, and if you're still around with us here, we'll definitely give you the mic. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Home Run PP. We have been live for the past about 6-7 hours. Yeah, following on this issue, your State of the Nation.
You are listening to Home Run with PP. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Wacha niwapatie sasa, wacha niwaambie nyinyi wengine hamsikizi vizuri. Yeah? Do you guys, while you are listening to that, huyo mse wa nani? Thank you so much Japonji for that tip. Sijui kama vile mlikuwa mnasikia speech leo, kuna kitu mulisikia. Alisema kwamba the DPP, that is the Director of Public Prosecution, has the tendency of dropping charges against corrupt leaders. He went directly against his DPP. Sijui kama ni mimi niliona peke yangu ama mimi ndo nasikizanga na over listen. Bwana Japonji.
Yes, true. Yeah, he said that
you heard that, right?
Yes. Kwa sababu the witnesses huwa wanakataa kushow up. Unaget? That's what he said. Because the witnesses
anasema it is so much for independent. Alisema so much for independent what? So much for independent bodies. Hey.
This is what happens. So umekuwa charged na corruption, unaget? So kuna wale wanaitwa smart lawyers. Umekuwa accused umeiba 100 million. So what normally inatakikana pale kwa court, wanatakanga witness na watu waku like primary source, watu wenye wanawake na wewe kwenda most people wao wanakata kutokea, unaget? So that is enough kufanya DPP a drop case. Unaelewa vile wanawaka? So problem iko hapo kwa DPP reconstruction.
Niko na swali kwa lawyers. Like for example, nimepata Japonji anaiba pesa ya procurement. And you can answer me. For example, Japonji hata na kazi huku hivi kwa. Wewe kwanza, let me just tell you Japonji. Sijui kama jina yako ya pili inaweza kubali tukupatie kazi sahi hapa hivi. Unajua sasa tunatafuta lakini jana nilifurahia. Kuna mwingine kumbe nilikuwa nafikiria alipewa accent na sauti, kumbe ni accent tu. So when you are arrested or you are arrested for corruption, do they have like everybody come to wanawapatianga list ya wale wenye watakuwa witnesses? Lawyers, mnichanue hapo. Sitaki kwenda kuongea next time mbele ya watu nipoteze context. Is it like when now, for example, if we are leveling charges against Pipita as a corrupt leader, do we like do we have a list of people that we are going to be interviewing? Unatoa list ama? Kwa sababu I think kama mimi Japonji nikijua eti niko na 200 million na naona hapa hivi unaenda kunisema, I would pay you, disappear you or whatever. And you know, we do not have good witness protection. Ask ICC witnesses. Oh, they're in heaven. You can ask them though. They will tell you. So basically, that is that. Japan.
So Pipita, basically, so unaona public prosecutor, once the police wamerefer matter to the public prosecutor, so prosecutor atasummon the complainant na the accused separately for an interview. Unaget? Alafu both parties may also wanapewa ile opportunity to bring witness to testify in their favor. So remember, kuna complainant and the accused separately for an interview, but that is not working kwa sababu hapo kwa DPP wana leak hizo files zao, unaget? So that's why unasikia president zingine anasema there is no independence, they wanakuwa like infiltrated, unaget? So that's how normally iko. But lawyer, wacha lawyer tupatie exactly the shortcomings za DPP ndio tu hata sisi tujue zaidi. That's how it should work. Sijui vile ile complaint yenye iko kabisa.
Unajua nimeleta hiyo kwa sababu watu wameongelea sana kuhusu Adani deal, but that one was something that was very intentional. When he spoke about the DPP's office, I was like, okay, that is curious, because alisema vizuri kwamba DPP mtu anapelekwa koti, ameshikwa, anaachiliwa. Sasa kama hadi rais amenotice hiyo, it means it's something. So what happens? Is that a warning shot? Is he telling them, okay, I'm going to be firing some people here? But also, I think the constitution also does not allow that. So my question here is, when someone is arrested, for example, for corruption by ESCC, does ESCC provide the list of witnesses, and is it available for people to see? Because it will be very funny. It will be very funny, honestly. And shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Hapa hivi ndani kwenye Home Run VP. We are always live here each and every day from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African time. You can support Home Run VP by 0721948229, which is our tip jar line. Okay. Acha tuone kwenye comment section kuna kaaje. Mzalendo amekasirika. Unajua Mzalendo simpatangi kwa space yangu. I don't know what happened between me and him. Is telling us, what are we celebrating? Cabinet dissolution or incompetence, and returning more than half. Yeah, with me tangu hiyo siku I have nothing to write home about. I really cheered. I'm not gonna lie. I really cheered because you guys understand that we spend a lot of time here online talking about these issues. So I really cheered when I heard that he's dropping Adani. I was like, okay, at least. But then again, he has dropped a lot of things. You know, guys, he has dropped a lot of things. He dropped Davis Chirchir, and he's still cabinet secretary right now. So this idea to kwenye studio naona Pan-African anasema rose by any other name Shakespeare. Okay, that is Taifa Care. Okay, but then acha niambie Taifa Care ndo nimeambiwa inafaa ku replace Shif and Sha. So there's a lot of things that I'm learning here, by guys. Bear with me. I'm finding out like you. Okay, on the poll, we are still there. People are not satisfied with the state of the nation. I don't know what you guys feel. Derek has already shared his thoughts, of course, and of course, Japonji as well has already shared his thought. But I feel for Opio and Wandai, guys. I don't know if it's me, but I saw a pattern. Opio Wandai, Baba, John Mbadi. The rest of the CSs are a bit quiet, but those ones are quite quiet. Yeah, wanabungazana, guys. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in up even Dani. We are at 8 p.m. East African time.
You are listening to Home Run with Pipi. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Show yenyewe inapiga kwenye hewa ni Home Run with Pipi. Majina ni MC Pipita. You can call me Pipi. And anasema kwamba hapa hivi ndani kwenye show yetu tunasupportiwa 100% by you the listeners. So if you like what you're doing, ingia pale hivi ndani kwenye tip jalide yetu ya M-Pesa 0721948229 and drop your support for us. It means a lot to us, to me and the whole family hapa. Sasa ninaona kuna jamaa wetu hapo vya nguvu. Okay, si jamaa, ni dada anaitwa Bionic. How are you doing, Bionic?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, PP. How are you guys? Sorry, I have a small cold. I have a slight cold, so I just wanted to answer your question regarding the witnesses thing. So when a case is brought forward by by the well, here we call the plaintiff or the complainant. The complainant has his witnesses or her witnesses. So you have to share the lawyers have to share the witness list with each other. They have to share the witnesses that they're going to call in the court. So the prosecutor bringing a case, his witnesses also, he has to share them with the other side of the defendant or the person who, well, we call him a defendant. I don't know what in Kenya they're called. So, yeah, they do share the witnesses lists. And that's how WSR was able to disappear witnesses against him during the ICC cases because his lawyers had the witness list. Now, the plaintiff or the defendant, actually, when it's the prosecutor bringing the case, the lawyer is the one the lawyers are both supposed to know the witnesses. The defendant, not necessarily. The person who's being accused should not necessarily know the witnesses that are being brought against him because of retaliation. And if anybody's keeping up with the Diddy case up here, the fact that he's been threatening witnesses is a testament to this same problem we have in Kenya, that his lawyers are giving him the potential witness lists because the case has not been mentioned. He's being held now and they're waiting for a trial date. But his lawyers have already gotten some witnesses because of the AG's complaint or the case that was brought forward. So they do have some witness lists. And those witness lists have to be shared with Diddy's lawyers. So he's been threatening some of these witnesses. He's paid off some of them. And that's kind of how it goes in Kenya too. And that's how it went in the ICC. Some witnesses disappeared, some were paid. And that's how the case collapsed. Because he managed to get to all the witnesses. And obviously he doesn't do it directly. He has his surrogates who go, who handle his dirty work for him outside the court, because he was being held. So, yeah, hope does that answer your question, PP?
Sorry, Bionic.
Can you hear me?
Bionic, I can hear you. I don't know if PP can hear you. I wanted to ask you something concerning that. Going back to the ICC, who was one of the Ruto's lawyer? Was it Kindiki, right?
No.
Kindiki was one of Ruto's lawyer in ICC, right?
I don't recall him being there.
It's there. You can Google. I'm just saying. So
he may have been.
Yes,
he may have been part of the legal.
Yes.
Part of the legal team.
Yes, he was.
But not the main attorney presenting the case. He was part of the legal team. So he was there. So
the legal team has access to the witness list, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what happened. So you see, after you said that, because I've just realized that that is in the context of international courts. I mean, paralegal system, not just in Kenya, yeah. Because Kenyans actually we don't even have this witness protection program. They have tried, but it always fails, yeah. So it all makes sense now. I'm just trying to think aloud. By the way, forgive me. I'm just trying to think aloud. So it all makes sense. It makes sense that all the ICC witnesses disappeared, and Kindiki was a lawyer for Ruto in the ICC, and now he's the vice president, and the case didn't go anywhere. Oh my God! So this makes sense. It's like those movies, like anyway. Yeah. This is for another day, but now it makes sense to you. Thank you for reminding us of that. Thank you, Pipita. Go on.
Yes, thank you. I want to go to Mzalendo. Mzalendo, how are you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who has joined this platform today. I just want to tell fellow Kenyans this, that whoever is thinking that Ruto has cancelled the Adani deal is simply daydreaming. This is the same man who called off an entire cabinet and said they were incompetent and that he wanted a cabinet that will support him. Then a month later, he returned more than half of them. I want to remind Kenyans something, that on 19th of September, the Nation reported this, that Apero Limited, the largest shareholder in Safaricom, awarded a technology-based system for universal healthcare coverage is linked to Adani Group. Do you know why today you are paying expensively for the universal healthcare? It's because of Adani is inside this. Alafu tunaambiwa ati deal yao na Kentraco na JKA imekuwa cancelled. The next eye opener I want to give Kenyans. When Mbadi was facing the Senate today, when he was very adamant, not Mbadi, sorry, Wandai. When Wandai was very adamant that the Adani corruption case in America cannot stop the Adani deal in Kenya. Was Wandai speaking for himself, or was he speaking on behalf of the government? Definitely, Wandai doesn't hold a position. He speaks on behalf of the government that he serves. So the position Wandai was holding was the position of the government. But as all of us know, William Ruto, this is the same Ruto who abused bishops on Friday, and on Saturday was again praising the bishops, and on Sunday was giving the bishops millions after abusing them on Friday. So listen to what Mbadi said today. Mbadi said that there is due diligence that is being conducted for Adani. I'm telling Kenyans, after some period of time, mark Mbadi's words, due diligence is being conducted. The due diligence will be over and we'll be told that Adani is okay to continue because they're still conducting due diligence. So hizi ni zile PR William Ruto amezoea. Ruto amezoea PR, and if you are a visitor to Ruto, anybody who thinks Ruto has cancelled Adani deal, I think you are a visitor in Jerusalem. You are a visitor in Jerusalem. I welcome you to Kenya. If you think Ruto has cancelled Adani deal, I welcome you to Kenya. Ruto has not cancelled Adani deal. Ruto has postponed Adani deal to bring down political temperatures. He has simply postponed it. And after some times, it will be brought back. So Adani deal is not cancelled, it has been postponed. Let us wait for the day that it will be brought back to the limelight after the due diligence has been conducted. Lastly, I want to tell us this.
Lebras, mute your mic. Continue.
Lastly, I want to remind us this, that it is our responsibility, it is our own commitment that will put Ruto to task. Let us not give up. Let us continue pushing, push until something happens. Venye unaona hivi ameanza kutetemeka tena. Venye ameanza hivi ameanza kutetemeka tena. So tumtishie, tukate mti kwa mzizi uanguke. This man will go and his all lies will come to be exposed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bwana Mzalendo. And also it's a good time to have you back onto the mic. I see Daniel ako hapa, alafu tuende kwa Japonji. How are you doing, Daniel? Wabwire, it's been a minute, brother.
Yeah, it has been long time. So habari zenu kwanza hapa Mombasa tumetulia tu nikufuatilia tu siasa zetu za Kenya. Kwanza mimi nataka nishukuru wakati vijana walienda, although tulipoteza wengi barabarani kwa street, hiyo maandamano ya vijana ilikuwa mbaya sana. Na hii yote unaona ni matokeo, cause this Adani kitu yenu ya Adani, mlikuwa mnasema Adani hapa Kenya, but hii issue inakuwa serious. Na mkikumbuka mara kwanza tukiongelea hii mjadala, mimi nilisema ukweli utaanza tu kujua polepole. Hata wakati Raila alisimama kudefend Adani, ilikuwa hao watu wote walikuwa wamekula kitu yao. Ruto alikula share yake na Raila akakula share yake. Wale viongozi wote tunajua ni wakora na ni wafisadi. Wote walikuwa wamekula. So sasa hivi venye crackdown imeanzia Amerika, maswali imeanza kuulizwa, investment zao jamaa zenye wamefanya lately, na wanaona deal zao kubwa zimekuja Kenya. Na unajua serikali ya Kenya na serikali ya Amerika wanafanya kitu mara sauti moja. Ukikumbuka serikali ya Amerika yenye inakuja saa hii ya Trump, hii serikali saa hii imeingiza uongozi yenye imekuwa wasiwasi. So deal zenye ziko hapa na zilikuwa zimefanywa hata na Adani ile yenye zilikuwa zimefanywa Amerika ndio zinaibua hii maswali. Hata ukiona hii suspension zenye mnaona zenye Ruto amefanya leo ni kulingana na maswali yenye imeanza kuulizwa huko juu. Hata kama hiyo swali aingeulizwa kule Amerika, haungeona hizi deal zimekuwa cancelled. Kwa sababu gani? Maswali inaulizwa huko na kuna mahali penye Amerika pia imefinyika. Kuna ukora imeendelea huko na wameona hiyo ukora. Tusipomaliza wacha tusimamishe ile wakati uchunguzi ikifanyika. Hizi zote ukora zote zinafanyika Afrika, zote zitakuja kwa meza. So hawa jamaa ni viongozi na ni wajanja. Kila mtu mkora anajua venye kujitetea. Ni hizi deal kuziweka chini ya maji, kujiondoa. But ukweli ikitokea, hata uchunguzi ikifanyika, utapata hao jamaa wakianikwa. Ndio utapata masuspension zinasema usikuja Amerika, wewe umepigwa ban, wewe safiri Amerika. Hizi ndio issues zenye zinakuja. But kwanza mimi nataka niwaambie wenye wote ambao umekusanyika hapa kwa home run. Saa hii tumebakisha na miaka 2 kupiga kura. Ombi langu huwa linakuwa tu moja. Saa hii hatuna leader wa kupigia kura. Msiniambie ati mimi ni mtu wa Raila. Msiniambie ati mimi ni mtu wa Ruto. Hao watu wote tumewajua. Kuna mwingine alipigia Ruto kura hapa na kuna mwingine amekuwa Raila, diehard wa Raila. Lakini umeona watu wanaangaliaka tumbo zao sana kuliko wewe mwananchi. Wakati nyinyi mnakufia kwa street, mnapoteza vijana kwa street, mnalala njaa kwa manyumba zenu, hao watu wanakula. Na wanakula vizuri sana, watoto wao wanaenda ng'ambo every day, any given opportunity. Hao jamaa wana grab. Wakipata tu chance, hii vitu yenye sijui nimeona kitu kingine ati imebadilishwa from HIF to sijui Kenya nini. Hiyo vitu, these are things that zinakuwa build kutengeneza pesa kwa mikono za hao watu. So, nyinyi kama wananchi, mkiona kitu, wacha kwanza nishukuru Nelson Amenya kwa jambo hili. Kwa sababu kama Nelson Amenya angekuwa ni mtu ule kwanza muoga, hii kitu angefunua, angeachilia. Lakini ule courage tu peke yake kuona kitu kama hiyo na kuweka kwa meza hiyo kitu, imesave nchi miaka kama 100 inayokuja. Na hiyo kitu kuongelewa kila saa. Hata Ruto kama hii kitu amesuspend kusema itakuja venye Mzalendo anasema ati itainuka baada ya muda fulani, lakini sasa tumeiweka kwa meza. As long as hii kitu imewekwa kwa meza, tutaimulika hata wakati wa kura. Tutaimulika, we will continue to push. Na sasa pia nataka nishukuru kwa sababu hata hii mngangano wetu wenye tumesukumananga, lazima kanisa, tunaingia kanisani tunasema we don't need corrupt politician kwa kanisa. Hiyo vitu imesaidia mpaka sasa tunaona makanisa, bishops wa Catholic, tunaona these people are coming together, wanaanza kujua ukweli, kwa sababu hii watu wanakula pesa za ufisadi kila mahali, na hizo kanisa ndio zinatumiwa kusafisha. Mtu ameua mtoto wa mtu saa hii, kesha akienda kanisa anasafishwa. So tunafaa tushukuru pia makanisa yenye yanachukua hiyo step, na tuendelee kuwa call into order. Tuende hata mchakato wetu ya kusema hatutaki wanasiasa kwa kanisa na maharambe. Kanisa sianze kujitegemea. Sisi washirika tukienda kanisani, ile pesa yenye Mungu ametupea tunaenda kutoa tithes, tunaenda kutoa sadaka. Hizo ndio zinafaa zifanye miradi kanisani, ili tuache kutegemea wanasiasa kuleta zile blood money kwa kanisa. Na hiyo ndio nchi yetu itakuwa safi. Nchi wanasiasa wakiepukana na mambo ya kuenda kuleta corruption kwa kanisa, nchi yetu itasafika. Hakuna mtu mwenye atakuwa na wakati hata mimi wakati tulikuwa hapa nilikuwa nasema the only way kama tungekuwa na wananchi tungeungana na tuitishe referendum, katiba yetu tubadilishe, tuweke limit ya mtu, yani tuweke tu sheria ya mtu kama mfisadi, hata kama uchunguzi bora, uchunguzi yake ile whistleblowing imeanza, huyo mtu anakaa kando, na mwenye anapatikana hatia tunaweka tu pale Kasarani, tunaweka Nyayo, tunanyonga yeye public. Mtu kama huyo utaiona hata wewe Ruto akienda kuiba, kwa sababu whistleblowing peke yake tutasema it is enough for you, hufai kuwa kwa hii kiti. Kenya tunafaa tufikie hiyo viwango. Huko Kenya tuko na rasilimali. Ukiangalia hii coastal, hii Mombasa, hii coastal, ukiingia Savo, ukiingia wapi? Kuna madini mingi sana, lakini kuna watu wachache tu wanakula hizo pesa ambazo zingekuwa kama kinua uchumi cha nchi yetu ya Kenya. So lazima sisi wananchi ndio tutaangalia hii. Tukinyamaza, vizazi vyetu vinavyokuja pia vitaumia. Na nataka nishukuru kwa sababu hii sauti, maandamano ilifanywa kwa hii mambo ya Adani. Hata watu waliongea, na ndio unaona sasa ni wakati sasa wa Mungu kuanza kulipa. Mungu sasa analipa. Sasa nakwambia our God sasa achelewe kulipa. Viboko sasa zinatembea mbaya sana. Good experience ni mimi mwenyewe. I have experienced something recently yenye naona kweli Mungu wetu huwa achelewi. Bali mtu unaona amekukosea na ukasema asante, mimi I don't want to fight, wacha niache vita mwenyewe, Mungu mwenyewe anipiganie. Lakini within hata mandi jaisha unaona Mungu amepiga kiboko. So sometimes sisi wananchi tuwe watu wa kuomba, na kama vijana, unajua siku hizi vijana wamekataa kwenda kanisani sababu tunasema makanisa zetu siku hizi zinaangalia tu pesa, zinaangalia wanasiasa. Hiyo kitu nafaa niwaambie tu, mimi niko 29 years old, lakini nataka niwaambie saa hii kila mtu aende kwa maombi. Ukiomba saa hii, ombea nchi yako. Hawa viongozi tunajua wengine hata saa hii usiku saa 7 usiku ikifika utawapata ufuoni. Wengine wanaabudu majini, wengine wanaabudu mapepo. Most of them are blood suckers. Lakini wewe piga magoti, omba. Jiweke Mungu alinde familia yako, alinde jamii yako, alinde nchi yako. Vitu kama hizi zinachangia uchumi wetu kuharibika. Vitu kama hizi corruption kama yenye inainuka hii. Unadania hii Adani saa hii venye tuseme ikuwe suspended, maswali pia itaulizwa kwa sababu kuna pesa imemwaga. Vitu kama hizo zishika, au vya wanasiasa wajibizane huko, ndio sasa tujue wenye wanajaribu kumeza nchi yetu. So mimi ni muda sijaingia kwa home run kwa sababu nimeshikana kidogo huku Lamu na mashughuli, lakini nimerudi sasa. Saa hii niko Shanzu na Mombasa kwenyewe, so tutakuwa tukiongea. Nashukuru bana Pipita, unaweza pea mtu mwingine mic. Pipita.
Pipi ni kama amelala. Pipi. Mzalendo, mimi nilikuwa nataka tu kuuliza swali moja. Mzalendo, unanisikia?
Nakupata.
Nakusikia Japonzi.
Okay, sawa. Nilikuwa nataka kuuliza swali moja. Ulikuwa unasema ati this Adani deal, this guy has not cancelled. Unajua there is something nimeona wameshare leo. This memoranda, this public participation. Kuna kitu wameshare leo and it's dated 14th November, but leo ndio inaonekana. This is the invitation to submit memoranda. For your story, aviation is like a public participation. Yeah, aviation, hiyo story ya nini kama wanaanzisha hiyo fresh story ya Adani. So me I'm confused here. Leo today's date is like 21st. Alafu hii kitu ina expire 22nd Friday at 5 p.m. So this is like they're asking for people to submit memoranda. It's like in a form of like public participation, whatever that means, for the JKA, like for the aviation industry in Kenya, yeah, like what they wanted to do with JKA, foster growth, maximize contribution, maintain aviation safety, hizo vitu zote. So I'm confused a little bit here. Hii paper mbona leo ndo inaonekana on the 14th of November after president cancel hiyo Adani bill, like they want to start the process afresh, which means wako na mtu tayari ama juu deadline ni kesho is 20 what, kesho is 22nd I think, yes, by 5 p.m. So just if you have seen it, I posted in the how you call this, pipita, I posted in your link, and you can have a look at it. That's all I wanted to say, and I'll be now listening because I'm going to do something. Thank you guys, and good night. I'll be listening.
Asante sana bwana Japonji for that. Naongelesha na bana account. Let me bring in Geodesic as well. I want to hear what other people have to say about whatever is going on in our country. And I see Geodesic is here. You can request the microphone and join us also before we call it a night. We have about 39 minutes to the top of the hour, where we'll be letting you talk to us. And of course, naona Geodesic. I mean, what dear? Geodesic.
Yeah. Mambo vipi?
Poa sana mzee. Talk to me.
Nice. So, nasikia unauliza if we should be happy. I mean, hapa there's nothing to smile about.
Aila.
And the first, hakuna by the way, kwa sababu this guy si ati amecancel kwa sababu tumepiga kelele for the last 5 months kuhusu Adani. Hakuna, wamekuwa wakishinda wakisupport akina Murkomen, akina Chirchiro wamejira dogo tawe. Nyinyi hamjui. Sisi ndio tunajua hii biashara nini. Tupeama uongo mingi, wanatuambia hawako corrupt. Na ukigoogle tu hata Adani, the first page unaona tu ni madeals tu. Zilizokuwa zikigonga ukuta. So it is not about us. It is more than that, Isa. Na hata the reason I think ni vile tu ilikuwa flagged huko US, na hiyo ndio inamupea must go wasiwasi mingi kwa sababu US unajua hataki ufala. That's the first. Kwanza kwa mambo ya kuosha watu, hizi money laundering stuff. Hatari sana. And being ukiflagiwa in that nini sio rahisi. So I think itakuwa na much more repercussions zitakuwa mingi. Kuna watu watahandle huko. Kuna watu wanaweza kuja kuhandle. Kwa sababu already walikuwa washakula pesa watu ya Adani. Washakula kina Murkomen. Niko sure walikula pesa. So utaanza kuona saa hii hawa ndio wanatupreachia huku Twitter, we have no room for failure nini. And the first day hawa ndio walikuwa wakiupload hii vitu yote. So it is not about us. But what I can say, kwanza Amea alituokolea sana. I think hii deal ingepigwa tu style ingine hatari sana. Lakini even though imeflagiwa na wame-cancel, I think ni here I say. Unajua must go nayo kuna matrix mingi. Na kama walikula pesa, I don't think watakubali hiyo nini ipotee hivyo. Na labda hata washatumia pesa, washafanyia vitu zingine. So sioni kwa sababu ukipata swindlers kama Adani, definitely watu wa kuenforce their debt collection ama kuchukua pesa kutoka kwa watu sio hivi. Unaweza pata ni labda hata ni na Wagner ama hizi mercenary squad. So kuna watu watapoteza hata in the first place. So online workers, I think tumefanya the job. Naona leo acha tugoje kesho akina leo kuja tutukare tena huko. Huyu David D. So practically ni hivyo. Kwa mali shift ndio bado mambo iko. Lakini naona wabalishe kwa taifa, lakini sasa ni pesa tena. Yaani pesa itakuliwa. Hawaoni kama wanataka ku lose everything. So I think they are trying to save face. Yaani ku save face na public ile as in morali irudi kidogo nini. Kwa sababu sahi man, mimi hata sikusikia nini, mimi sikutaka. Wengine unasikia vile katikati umekasirika bure. So madhali uachane tu nazo goja tu breakdowns, the updates. So tuendelee tu kufinya mali zinafinyika hivyo hivyo, waendelee kushuka. So at the end of the day, the thing yenye itaua hii ni the weight of their own foolishness. It will kill the administration and the truth. Basically, unaona, they cannot, hawawezi sustain a truth even for a day. So it will just take time. Pole pole wataanza kulana wenyewe. Naona vile akina Wandai leo ameanikwa ule hadi ule blogger wake leo haonekani. So inakaa deep definitely. Kuna something must give. So acha tungoje tuone sasa repakaji. Secondary effects ni nini? Lakini tuendelee kufinya mambo ya shift bado hatujatoka kwa hook. Hata hiyo JKIA bado tu. I think wako na mtu in hand. Lakini inaweza go to another party of which itakuwa cooler though, lakini sio vile. Wanasema hatujui kuendesha how to manage an airport. Enda hapa Doha. Kenyans wana run almost the whole airport in the very different roles. So it's not about that they are to join. You want to do another kula pesa. It's all about the money. There's nothing about efficiency. Kuchunga inchi kufanya. Nothing about that. It's all about madili za haraka tutoke kaa tumeenda. Hiyo ndio wako interested na. So thanks Pipi.
Pipi Japunja alikuwa ameniuliza swali, naweza jibu kidogo?
Jibu mzalendo.
Thank you. Now, Japunja, I was saying this, if you want to see the controversies in this government, the Adani deal was signed through a PPP, a public-private participation. Now, on 14th, there was also now another procurement deal that was going on without cancelling the first deal that was there. And this thing should be made public. So utakuta Japonj, hiyo kitu ilikuwa imewekwa hapo, hiyo ni ya PR ya kusupport kenye president alikuwa kuja aseme leo. The controversies in this government are too many. It's like the president lives in Mars and his cabinet lives in Pluto. Is like the president lives in heaven na watu wengine wanakaa earth. I want to base my facts on the public disagreement that was there between the president and his cabinet, because the president, before a cabinet represents him, before a cabinet goes before a parliamentary committee, I believe it is constitutionally right that they always have an agreement. This is the position of the government on this issue, of which hata leo kabla Wandai aende Senate, they had talked with Ruto, and the position of the government was the Adani deal is still there and it is ongoing. And then boom, somebody advises Ruto that you need to please these people. Lazima uende ufurahishe wa Kenya. Na kuwafurahisha, kitu ya kwanza nende useme hizi deal tumezikataa. And I was also reading somewhere people where somebody said that kuna mtu amepost picha akasema Ruto's position on Adani when Biden was president, and Ruto's position on Adani when now Trump is the president. So is there a foreign hand in this? Hiyo ndio swali jamaa aliuliza, is there a foreign hand in this? Is a question for another day, and we are waiting to see. I think that is how best I can answer your points.
My question here, Zalendo, maybe before you go, don't you think maybe Opio Wandai was used as a psy-op so that he can, when Mastugo comes and says these things, he looks like a good man? Sijui kama unanisikia nani Mzalendo?
Please, I did not hear you.
So, like the way one day went today and spoke different to what the president came and spoke, don't you think it was all a plan, part of the what we call psyops?
Peter, there's one thing I believe. There was a day that David Ndii said, no David Ndii, Herman Manyora said that it is difficult to advise Ruto because Ruto advises you on how to advise him. So if you see somebody saying that, and he was basing his facts kwa vile Ruto alikuwa anakuja anasema hivi saizi, alafu kesho ana contradict his position. What you are saying, Peter, could be right. And looking at it from a different perspective, it could also be a situation whereby there are a lot of things that are involved in this. It could also be a scenario whereby Ruto has finished. My thinking, though, Ruto is done because everything he wanted to achieve with ODM is now over. Now he's now starting to leave ODM with the egg on their faces. Just few weeks ago, Raila Odinga alisimama kasapoti kitu ya Adani. Today, Ruto is contradicting the position of Raila Odinga and even his own cabinet that happened today. So if you look at it, there are a lot of things that are involved in this. But what I believe is that this is a guy who is full of controversies, and he's a guy who you can never believe this guy. That is why I was holding a position, PP, that Ruto has simply postponed the Adani deal. He has not cancelled it, he has postponed it. Na venye nani amesema, huyo speaker wa mwisho hapo, Simoni jina, ya kwamba there is already something that is cooking, and what Japunji posted tells you there is something that is already cooking. Now for it to iive hiyo kitu ilikuwa inapikwa, kuna uwezekano bado waliagree na Upio, wewe nenda useme hivi, alafu na mimi nikuje niseme hivi. Kuna uwezekano bado waliagree na Upio wacheze hivyo. But there's something that is cooking, na kenye mkumbuke tu Pipita, ya kwamba Adani has other 21 subsidiaries. So even if the deal will not be given to Adani, it will be given to a subsidiary of Adani still. Because Adani, kumbuka, ili finance campaign za Raila. Adani, kumbuka, ilipea Murkomen pesa mingi sana. Murkomen alishikwa nazo Dubai. So either watarudisha pesa za Adani ama watawarudisha tu contract. Na wasipopea the name Adani, they will give one of the 21 subsidiaries of Adani. And that is what is cooking. But what you are saying could also be very, very right. Kutumanage, venye jamaa anapenda kutumanage. Na sisi tunashangilia, lakini ni kutumanage anatumanage. He is very good in politics of management. It could also be true. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Let's see Dejour. Dejour, mambo vipi? Dejour, can you hear me? Outlook.
Yes, Pipita, I can hear you. Mambo vipi?
Niko poa sana Dejour. Talk to us.
Now, number one, Adani deal cancel. Those who know the law of contract, wanajua kwamba when you cancel a contract, there are implications. Especially when you cancel a contract, na yule ambaye umecancel na yeye contract hajakukosea. Basically, umecancel on hearsay. Mtu wako indicted. And I'm not supporting Adani, is indicted, yes. But they have to go to full trial to find him guilty. So number one, here inaweka question mark. Number two, tukiangalia contract, you just don't stand up and say, I've cancelled the contract. Contracts are legal processes.
So he was performing to the gallery. Number 3, the government is deep into Adani's pockets, those ministers as individuals, and the people around Raila and Ruto, including Raila himself, like the previous speaker alluded. Even when you hear the discussion of Wetangula, kizungumza na huyo Muhindi, all these people are murky deep into that thing. So hii kuamka na kusema tu is not enough. That is just playing to the gallery. And then angalia vile imefanywa. Wapio Wandai anaenda naongea anaitetea, alafu baadaye anakuja anaipiga chini. Killing two birds with one stone. Anataka kufurahisha raia, na at the same time anaeka ODM on red alert. Sababu huyo ndo minister wenu, hao ndo alisema experts from ODM. That's what Raila was talking about. We've given government our experts. We've lent our experts. Sasa wana vile ma experts wenu wanababaika. So when we look at this, let's look at it critically. There's no way I contract with you and then you go out there in the public and say, I've canceled that contract. It has no effect on that contract. Because contract involves offer, acceptance, consideration, and all the other ingredients like legality, capacity, etc. So from a legal point of view, hawezi cancel contract kwa kusimama na kusema. More so it was not an offer, it was a contract. It has implications. And the government hata inaweza enda kama if it truly cancel that contract, it can end up paying a lot in damages. A lot in damages. Asante.
So unasema si eti wanaicancel, ni hiyo deal tumecancel.
Hakuna, you cannot cancel a contract verbally tu kwa gallery huko umeenda in public. You have to involve the lawyer of the person who cancel your contract na yeye. You have to look at the terms that were binding you. You just don't walk out. It's a legal obligation with implications. Ask any person who knows the law of contract. They will tell you, or any scholar of law, they will tell you, you're contracting with me, then you're going out there in public telling fans or people around there, cancel ile contract na ule jamaa. As far as ule jamaa are concerned, the contract is still on. Because when you signed it, you didn't go to the gallery. You didn't call Adani to the gallery to tell them now we are signing. For you now to go to the gallery and tell them, you may cancel ile contract when Adani is not there. That was a political statement aimed at gaining political mileage and has no legal implication as far as the law of contract is concerned. If there's any lawyer on the panel hapo, amke aseme. You just don't cancel a contract. It has legal implications. You'll have to pay damages upon damages for a contract of that magnitude. The moment you put your pen down and sign that contract, you are bound by it. So you cannot stand up verbally and say, you may cancel. That's not how the law works. Those are rules of the jungle. Thank you.
Tusema wanaenda na kama 30 billion hivi in damages. They have to be paid. There has to be some payment, right?
Definitely, which means it's a blunder upon a blunder. You enter into a contract, your people wamepata kickbacks, then again the taxpayers to go and pay damages na services hazijakuwa provided. Because the other guys will say, well, we mobilized this, we did this, it costed us this, that, and they'll blot it. And you will have to pay because you're the one who has repudiated and cancelled it. So I don't know who's Ruto's legal advisor, I don't know. But also read the American hand in it. When the man wanted to join BRICS, you remember recently?
Yes.
Yes, so don't forget that angle. You must look at these things critically, holistically.
Right.
So there's the
Thank you so
American
much.
angle. Inaweza kuwa na sawa, karibu. Sawa.
Naona Outlaw kwa hapa, nataka kusikia kutoka kwa Outlaw na Ras G. Outlaw, are you there? Thanks so much Dijua for that clarification as well. Outlaw, are you there?
Thank you. Welcome.
Outlaw?
I was.
Niambie, how are you doing? Uko freshi?
I'm good, man.
Maoni yako ni gani kwa hii conversation tuko nayo leo?
Mimi nasema like we aren't supposed to trust nobody, not even your neighbor. Saa zingine not even yourself. Like hawa se wote wako kwa mfuko, hawa se wote wako paid. So all these politicians, they're serving the same master. Hatufai kuwa trust at all. Hivi vita tunafaa kuipigana. Like unaipigana wewe kaa wewe, unaona, like ufai kutrust mtu yoyote, not even influencers.
Hapo sawa. Asante sana Outlaw for that. Ras G, naona umerudi kwenye microphone. Sijui kama unanipata sasa.
Yes, my friend Pipita. It's been long.
Sana. Big up to you, man. Thank you for showing up here.
Yeah, I took a break. I took the most important break, and you knew what was going on. Your time ndio bado tulikuwa tunakimbizana na hao watu because of issues like Adani, and I can see eventually Kenyans have eventually won, but I would want to see it from a very different perspective, because we all know William Ruto, and William Ruto is very good with words. Very good with words. Let me silence people here kwanza kwa sitting room. So what I'm saying is William Ruto is very good with words, and as a country we should be very, very, very careful. And most important is first of all is to big up my brother Nelson, who took the bulls by the horns. We have been in this spaces, Peter, and I know you've hosted Nelson before, and others. So many people when you were on the forefront fighting for this battle, and it is an indicator. It has to send hope to Kenyans that hakuna, as long as we stand on the right road, on the right tracks of justice, then hakuna kitu inaweza tushinda. Most important, Pipita, Kenyans should be aware there is a very important developments in the United States, and this government that has ruled with a lot of impunity is going to have a very difficult time with the Trump administration. The development that you are seeing today, there are so many things that are going to come that has been done by this government, and William Ruto at some day, him and his friends will come to pay for for so many things they have done on to Kenyans. Watakuja tu kulipia. I'm saying this because Pepita, Kenyans have been forced. We saw a parliament that is standing to give a president a standing ovation. When it is the same parliament that rubber stamped the Adani deal. We are seeing a lot of hypocrisy from our politicians. Wale watu wenye hawawezi ambia president, where were they? If they can stand up and clap for him for cancelling Adani, where were they? Walikuwa wapi hawangeambia president ukweli? At leo hii wanataka kuonesha wa Kenya, they cannot take credit. Credit should go to people, should go to good Kenyans who are on social media, who trended the hashtag Stop Adani, Kenyans who died, because of Adani, Kenyans who got abducted, everybody who got silenced, but eventually stood up. How ndio Wakenya wanafaa? Politicians in this country should stop that idea. And it is a very big shame to one individual called Raila Amolo Odinga and the entire opposition. To an extent, they were pocketed by this government, this regime. There was nobody to stand for Kenyans. Wakenya walifika mahali wenyewe wakajisimamia. And Raila Odinga went in front of the press defending Adani deal. He was not defending Adani deal because it was not good. It was good. He was not defending Adani deal because it was something that was going to bring value to the country in any way. He was simply defending Adani deal because William Ruto and friends had already calculated the value yenye atapewa kama cuts. So it is a very big win. We should celebrate. And this points out one point. Yeah, united we will stand, but divided watu watatumaliza. So let us continue. Wacha tuendelee ku defend the country. Tusifike mahali wakatu separate. And it is unfortunate that we are now getting the fruits. We are now starting to reap. We know we have a long way. As much as we are getting these small wins up and up, our clarion call should continue to be Ruto must go. This administration has to leave. This administration has to fall at some point because there is nothing wamesign. Hakuna kitu yote yenye hii administration imefanya yenye ni ya kusaidia wa Kenya. Our next focus should go to SHA and these other deals that they have signed, that they are meant to enslave Kenyans. Hapo ndio focus yetu inafaa ikuwe hapo. Somebody mic is on. I don't know if it's Pipita wanted to ask something. Anyway, let me conclude, Pipita. I heard William Ruto speak about abductions and everything, all those other things. And I'm one of the believers that there is nothing I took home from his State of the Nation address. And sometimes I sit down and really ask myself a lot of questions, especially to the young people who this government has employed as bloggers and some of the people that simply are there on social media to confuse Kenyans with a lot of information. There are some of my friends who have been employed by this government not to do any other thing but to distort and confuse and misinform Kenyans on their projects and everything about this presidency. But I'm appealing to my fellow young people. There is nothing that will come out of this regime. It has abducted, it has killed our friends. At some point, William Ruto will have to answer. Him and his administration. Hatujui hiyo haki itakuja lini, but at some point. So tusiambiwe kuhusu Adani, even this Adani thing, Pipita, it has to go through the right procedure, and that is the law. Hawezi amuka uka cancel deal. What William Ruto and group have done, it's either they have pocketed the kickbacks ama hongo za Adani. Sasa wamekula hongo, wameshalipwa hongo, na kwa sababu country imereact, wameamua kutoka nani? Adani. Adani is the same fella that the United States is after. Either William Ruto ameangalia akaona hapa ni. So lazima tufuatilie ambao wenye wako kotini. Wale ambao wako kotini kama our friends who are in the courts still pursuing the Adani deal, they should make sure that this matter goes to its logical conclusion. Otherwise, William Ruto will have played with words on Kenyans because he knows he's somebody who knows to play with words. Amecheza huu mchezo kwa muda mrefu na anajua he can produce, he knows which card to produce that can excite Kenyans. Sasa tusirudi huku nyuma tukaanza kucelebrate at Adani is gone. Adani has to go through the right procedure, paperwork. Our courts also have to be accountable. Kwa sababu koti pia zilikuwa zimeshaanza ku receive hizo bribes. And that's why you saw slowly by slowly William Ruto had started winning at the courts. Uliona SHA vile kulienda. Hiyo ni pesa ilitumika. Hakuna justice ilifanyika hapo. Ni pesa ilitumika huko. Sasa tunataka tuone haya makaratasi. He should not go to the public hapo hivyo asimame bunge aseme sijui nini. We want to know by paper, by law, ya kwamba hiyo deal imekuwa withdrawn na tuambiwe the parliamentary committee yenye ilikuwa inafanya hiyo kazi, it was supposed to oversight that deal, walifikia wapi na walifanya aje. Sometimes back, Peter, you saw there is a group that traveled to India. We were not told those names. Ilikuwa ni undercover. Ini deal imekuwa tu undercover, imefanywa tu hivi. So William Ruto cannot stand on in the parliament and tell us ati cancel. No, there should be people, there should be legal fraternity yenye inafaa ifuate to the conclusion ya kwamba Adani does not do any business in Kenya. Otherwise, it will remain just rhetoric yenye amezoea. Kwa sababu huyu jamaa anaweza dhania ako kwa siasa, anaweza dhania ako kwa gari, anaweza dhania ako kwa rally fulani ndiye anapiga hiyo kelele. Because William Ruto and the microphone, he can talk anything as long as it excites the masses. So let us be very careful. But it is a big up in case it is something that we are very sure it has been withdrawn. Let politicians not take this credit. This credit should go to the likes of Nelson and others, the likes of Anthony, the likes of Gashoka, who went to court because of this matter. And the many of us, the likes of Pipita and others who fought and in days trended Adani to make sure that they conveyed the message that the masses wanted. Otherwise, let us continue fighting as one unit, as one Kenyans. Let us remember, and let us always remember, this regime stands for nothing. It stands for nothing, anything that is good for us. So anytime we get an opportunity to fight it, let us with all our energy fight it for the sake of our children and for the sake of the future of this country. Thank you, Pipita, for this platform.
Thank you for that.
This is the Home Run with PP.
You're tuned into Home Run with PP, ladies and gentlemen. We have been live here for the past 6 hours, since 2 p.m. up until now. We have about 7 minutes before we call it a night. If you like what you're doing, of course, I'll just remind you to go into that tip jar to support the show. I see Access ako hapa hivi. Access mo kwa aje mzee? Jambo Access. Sesmoni kama hatupati. Arudhi, how are you doing? Arudhi, are you there? Aya, Arudhi ameenda. Bionic, can you hear me? Confirm you can hear me. Bionic.
Bluetooth connected.
Hello? Unasikianga nikiconnect to the Bluetooth device. The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. Naona hapa hivi watu wameenda side. Maria anasema ningepanda but hii ni sudo. I hope tu ni mwanadada iseti ni ndume anajiita Maria because hiyo nayo sasa hapo utakuwa umebehave badly. Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear me bwana Access more ama umepata mambo ni ngori umepata your balance is your stuff. Wacha ni mchezo. Kwani wananikula credit nikiangalia. Where?
I can hear you, Pipi.
Oh, talk to me. How are you doing, Arudhi? Bionic, you can hear me?
Bionic, just confirming. Yeah.
Arudhi ameenda. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Yes, so I have about 5 minutes. I can give a chance to one more speaker before we call it a night. Kesho ni siku ya mwisho ya home run, lakini of course Saturday I have a whole shoot, so weekend ni kazi bado. So but Let's get it bana. Ingia kwenye microphone. I think anaitwa Arudhi amerudi. Arudhi, are you there? Looks it's me. It's not you, it's me. But I can see we have Frederick. Jumbo Fred. Frederick. Sesmoni aje? Ndio umefungua mic.
Ya, niko.
Talk to me. Ni Fred anaongea. Fred itabidi ngoje Sesmo tusalimie alafu ndo uongee.
Sawa.
Talk to us Sesmo.
Yeah, hi PP.
Hi.
And everyone on the platform.
Tuko sambamba, talk to us bana mzee. Umepotea mpaka ukasahau kwamba wamenyamaza.
Yeah. No. I'm here. So just to quickly pinpoint a few issues on this on the topic of conversation today. I was just wondering who the president was addressing. Was he addressing the parliamentarians or was he addressing Kenyans? Because it's supposed to address the Wanchi, not some cronies of some MPs, something. I had, I talked about having cancelled the Adani deal. And these guys they're all over there like merrymaking and stamping their feet. I mean, what nonsense? What is? Kwani hao watu wanakuaga? Anyway, so the other issue is this president is talking, or rather, is talking to us Kenyans, addressing us via the State of the Nation, as if he's campaigning for presidential election again. The presidential elections were long gone, and this guy has got nothing to show, or rather, nini ametufanyia. So he's still talking as if he's campaigning. So to me, that State of the Nation address actually, to me, did not make a lot of sense. The other thing is, when you talk about the economy, I don't know. Does this president listen to, what the Wananchi, basically tell him, or rather, what the electorate, or rather the Kenyans are telling him? What are the parameters? Which parameters are we supposed to use to gauge, or rather, say that the Kenyan economy has grown? Maybe if you have economists on this panel, maybe they can advise on that. Because I don't see, what justifies the fact that the president was talking about the Kenyan economy having grown. Because then everybody, or rather everyone, is just complaining on how there's high cost of living now. There are a lot of issues as far as the economy is concerned. So to me, I want to maybe up this because I know time is of essence, but I don't know what goes through our president, because this president looks first of all, he looks stressed, and he looks tired. He looks like he's trying to justify a lot of things via talk. I think the majority of the Kenyans are now woke people. They just don't want to listen to your rhetoric that people hear at the time. They want to see actions. But so far, he's quite pressed, and for the first time, or rather for some time, actually since ile time alikomenda Embu, and well, things are not very, very rosy for him. So I think that the good thing is we need to keep on exerting that pressure and having these kind of conversations. Of course, we know our president is somehow hard-headed, and maybe he doesn't listen to whatever it is we tell him. But I think the way the pressure is now coming, I would say things are really, really boiling nicely. I know we have a lot to do, but let's keep the conversations going. I want to appreciate the forum and thank you, PP. Yeah, so that's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Sesmo, for finding time to talk to us. I want to let Fred talk to us, then Bionic, then we can call it a night. I need to go and rest. Masaa ya bachelor, masaa ni ya bachelor. Woo! Niende nipike jamani hata ugali mayai. Fred.
Hello, good evening. Hope I'm clear.
Yes, you're clear.
Yeah, mine is to focus. Mine is to echo on what my friend has already said, and I will still add on something that might be so helpful. I think this government has already realized that no one would like to associate with them. Even the churches that used to campaign for Ruto has already set line against William Ruto because Ruto is full of lies, Ruto is full of anger, and even Ruto is a one-man killer because he's already abducted the innocent people and even has already showed that he can abduct the foreigners. But this Ruto is just someone who is so careless, and sometimes he might mess this country and lower the dignity of our country. So we need to act faster, and we have been left as the opposition of this nation because opposition has been already captured, the parliament has already been captured. So it is our high time to show that the government, that the power belongs to us. We are the one who hire them, and we are the one who will not hire them come to 2027, because these people are still joking with us, are still joking with our mind, are still joking whatever that we do. This government is full of corruption, extrajudicial killings, and they are using everything, every resources that they have so that they can humiliate the common mwananchi. That's all for today.
Thank you so much, Fred, for finding time to talk to us. Bionic, what are your final words with us today? Bionic, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Talk to us.
A couple of things I wanted to bring up. First, I concur with the guy who was talking about the contracts law. He is very right. Contracts cannot just be terminated willy-nilly by one of the parties. It has to be both parties coming together and terminating the contract in agreement. If there is a clause that is written into contract about how to terminate the contract, and there are certain criteria that have to be met for one party to instigate termination of the contract. So in this case, Adani would be the one to start the process of terminating the contract, in my opinion, just because of the hostile work environment that Kenya is, and the fact that Kenyans have rejected far and wide his business with our government. I mean, the government is government of the people, and if the people are against his dealings, then if I were him, I would terminate this contract. But Adani is also a corrupt businessman. Even in India, he has cases going on right now. I was looking for this space today, and I found Indians talking about him in a very poor light. So he's not a good guy. And it's a shame that our government is in bed with one of the bad guys, internationally known bad guy. You know, he's a money launderer. And the US is aware of this. And I think that's why they put a kabush on some of the foreign accounts for Procurement, Wandai, and Churchill. Maybe these are the main guys who are dealing or willing and dealing with Adani. I don't know. I'm just trying to put it two and two together. Because let me tell you guys something. This administration, this new incoming administration is going to want to make an example of Kenya, specifically on Ruto. Why? Because Ruto was a darling to Biden and Biden's administration. Remember, they held a very huge state dinner for him. The only state dinner that was held for a foreign leader was held for the Kenyan leader. So that just automatically makes him the enemy of Trump. Trump, who I will call DJT, those are his initials, his modus operandi is to destroy everything done by the previous administration. Like when he came in 2016, he tried to destroy everything Obama had done. Some of them he couldn't, just because of the way the policies are written. And some of them he actually did destroy. And it affected a lot of things and created a lot of problems. But this time, he has no guardrails. And I will keep repeating this every time I can, that Trump, DJT has no guardrails now. So, and he's going to want to make an example of this relationship that Biden had with WSR. And he's going to make it, show it out to be the worst thing ever. And it's going to be turned into a corruption deal, just like they talk about Biden had corrupt dealings with Ukraine. Much as some of that is, there's fununus of that being true, but in essence, it wasn't true. But, you know, like someone would say, you know, repeat a lie many times and it'll be believed. Trump believes that. So he's going to start talking about how the deals with WSR were just corrupt deals, corruption at its finest. And it's going to stick because, one, he hates Africans, he hates Black people. So, and the people who follow him, excuse me, the people who follow him are they're gullible. They're easily influenced to whatever Trump says they follow. So he's going to make an example of him. And I look forward to that. I will be popping champagne when that's happening. Not because of my country, but because of the WSR going down. Maybe the stuff that's starting to happen now is signs that those things are starting to get into play. Because, you know, they use different people to start, you know, testing the waters to see if we do this, if we do that, what's going to happen, how are the Kenyans going to respond. I found out yesterday on JKL Live that the Kenyans in Haiti are being paid by us, by the Kenyan government. The deal they had with supposedly the deal they had with the UN. Now, Kenya did not willingly volunteer to send its troops to Haiti. It was more of an order. It was more of an order to WSR by the Biden administration and by the UN Security Council. Why? Because of the relationship they were forming and they had together. So I found out yesterday that the Kenyans in Haiti, first of all, they were there for a couple of months without being paid. Then when they started being paid, they were paid by the Kenyan government, and they were not paid their full salaries because the Kenyan government has no money. The deal is that the UN is supposed to compensate the Kenyan government for paying the Kenyan troops in Haiti. But this deal doesn't seem to be working because the UN has not refunded Kenya. So you think DJT is going to, because you know DJT has, the US has veto power in the Security Council, and China and Russia usually vote together, but the other three countries, France and the UK, vote with the US. They are going to vote together because DJT is a bully and whatever. So he's going to cut this deal. And Kenyan troops are going to be stuck over there because they have a contract also. You know, they can't just walk out. They're there for a specific amount of time. The deal they made with the Haitian prime minister, they have to fulfill that time that they promised to be there. And it's going to be a point where there's no money coming from the UN at all to pay them, because DJT will just kill that. You know, he might kill that with an executive order, or he might not even be able to kill that, but the money they'll find ways to just delay the pay. And that will be the start of things falling apart for this guy. So I look forward to that, and I just wanted to share that, you guys, people don't believe that what's happening now is a sign of things to come with the churches or the Adani thing. I'm taking it, and I'm happy that this is happening. I hope it's not, I hope it's real, and I hope it's the beginning of the fall of this pathetic government of WSR. Thank you, I land.
Asante sana Bionic, Dejo, and other speakers that have joined us throughout these spaces from when we started at 2 p.m. Today we started at 2 hours earlier up until now about 9 p.m. East African time. I'll now go rest. I'll be back here again tomorrow for the Friday episode of Home Run with PP, of course. There is so much to catch up on. So thank you so much for being here. And of course, remember, Home Run with PP is supported by you, the listener. If you like what you're doing, there's a tip jar line for you to support us. Up until kesho, Mungu awalinda waweke, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Home Run with Pipi.
Dejo, unasemaje bana?